Have you ever heard of a villain who isn't really a villain? A villain who second guesses his principles after he's obtained what he's wanted his whole life? The answers to these questions lie in the hit children's movie Megamind. I really enjoyed the movie Megamind because of its amazing theatrical techniques, including the humor, soundtracks, and unique plot. In my speech, I will be talking about the plot of Megamind and my opinion on why it is such a fantastic movie. Megamind is a comedy movie released in 2010 and is a favorite among many families today. There are four main characters in this film: Megamind, Roxanne Ritchie, Metro Man, and Hal Stewart. Ever since Megamind landed on Earth, he was always the villain, and Metro Man was always the hero. Soon, Megamind grew to love this role of himself and was always opposing Metro Man as the main villain in Metro City, or as Megamind likes to call it, Metrocity. Megamind's famous scheme was kidnapping the famous news anchor, Roxanne Ritchie. One of his elaborate schemes involved him tricking Metro Man, which led to his death and Megamind's unrivaled victory. Megamind was overjoyed in his sudden increase in power and wealth, but he got tired of not having a superhero to fight every day. In all the stories, have you ever heard of a supervillain actually winning a fight? Megamind hadn't either. He decided the best way to bring back the old days was to give someone else the random superpowers of Metro Man and to train them undercover to make them a suitable superhero to engage in conflict with Megamind once again. This mysterious person was Hal Stewart, Roxanne Ritchie's assistant. While all of this was going on, Roxanne was trying to take Megamind down after the fall of Metro Man. She later started to fall in love with Bernard, who was an assistant at the Metro Man Museum. Bernard was secretly Megamind in disguise. When all of this deceit was unveiled, Roxanne was kidnapped by Hal, who had decided to become a villain because of the way he had been tricked. Megamind, in disguise, told Hal that he could get any lady he wanted if he became the ideal superhero. Megamind, after discovering that Metro Man had faked his death in order to retire from being a superhero, decided to be the one to save Metrocity from Hal, also known as Titan. Now, in the end, Megamind was able to achieve his goal and was largely celebrated by the citizens of Metrocity, even though he was still a supervillain. Now, I would like to talk about my thoughts on this film. This movie thoroughly succeeded my expectations and set the standard of how I felt a typical children's movie should play out. The voice acting in this movie was excellent, and the voice actors were beautifully selected. There was a great use of humor, as funny jokes were available for both children and adults to laugh at. However, some parts in the movie were not realistic and other parts were very excessive and drawn out. This can be expected though, because the targeted age group would normally not notice these types of things. The sympathy of the villain is something that a lot of movies don't have, which further develops the characters. As earlier stated in this speech, I have discussed the plot of Megamind and my thoughts on the impact that this film has. Megamind was a very enjoyable film in many different aspects. Before you downplay the level of thought that goes into making these children's movies, try analyzing one for yourself. Maybe you'll realize new things, and maybe Megamind could become your new favorite film.